Hey everybody. Oh, hang on a second. I gotta mute myself. Okay. Nope. Okay, we'll see if that works now. How's everybody doing today on a Monday? It's still echoing. I don't know how to get that to turn off. Let's see. Maybe it's off now. Nope. Okay. I'm Aunt Rachel. I am the owner of Journey Back Quilts, and today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to set up your sewing machine for free motion quilting and show you a couple tips on how to do that. So the first thing I have is a couple products, I guess. So this first one is my favorite needles. These are Top Stitch needles. They're Superior brand, and they are titanium plated, so they work great for free motion quilting. I'm sorry, the echo is driving me crazy because I can hear myself and I don't know how to turn it off, but I want to be able to show you the machine with this other camera. So the other product is Aurifil thread. This is the best thread that I have found to use on a domestic sewing machine. On my long arm, I use Superior threads as well, but the Aurifil thread is what's best in my domestic machine. And I have this in my shop as well if you are needing some. So you can go to journeybackquilts.com and then push shop. Okay, this other fun product is a what is it called? A Supreme slider. So it sticks to your sewing machine and your needle will go through this little hole here, and it's super slickery so that all of your fabric moves smoother when you're trying to free motion quilt. A tip to use this though is to maybe tape down the edges just so you don't accidentally peel it up and sew it to your fabric. That would be really bad. So let me see. Oh yes, my machinger gloves. These gloves are very well loved. They look dirty, but they're not. It's just from my markings on my quilt. They have a little bit of a grippy fingertip to them, and it helps you grip your quilt better. So when you're moving it around on your machine, it doesn't slip away from you and you're not having to just grip the whole thing really hard. So I'm going to show you how well these work. And then you'll want to have a quilt sandwich made up. So I just kind of got some dark fabric and some batting in there, and I didn't even have to pin it or glue baste it or anything. It's just sticking to itself. So I will show you how to do that. Another thing with your machine you'll need is either a darning foot or a hopping foot, and it looks kind of like this. This foot is really helpful when you're free motion quilting, so you can see exactly where the needle is moving and be able to move your fabric easily. It doesn't sit on the fabric, it actually glides above it just a little bit, so it's very helpful, and I'll show you how that works too. A lot of these hopping feet have a spring in them, and they'll actually hop as you're sewing. So if you don't like doing that, there's a tip on how to take that out, and I can give you a tutorial on that in another day. So let's get to the machine here. And I'm going to see if I can mute this one. Here. That one away. All right.
I would suggest that you use a brand new needle. Let me mute my. Okay. Hopefully you can still hear me. If you can't, let me know. Let me grab my thing here. Okay, so I'm going to put my hopping foot on here. Raise my foot here. So you are going to want to raise your feed dogs. Where's my thing? And a lot of times to do that, there is a button on the very back of your machine here that you'll just click over and these will drop down. My machine just has a little button that turns them off. So I'm going to push that. And I have one of my needles in here. It's a fairly new needle, so I'm not going to worry about changing it. You'll also want to fill your bobbin all the way so that you don't run out super quickly, because getting this all set up can be a pain to have to undo it all right away. So I'm going to put my Supreme slider right over my needle plate. And then you can use like painter's tape or embroidery tape or masking tape to help hold the edges down of this. And you can see how slippery it is. It's super nice. Let's see. I'm going to put my machinger gloves on. Now, usually your tension won't need to change too much. Occasionally, if you're having a lot of looping on the back, that means that your bobbin is too loose. So you would tighten your top tension to be able to pull that bobbin tighter up. So what I'm going to do is lower my needle into the fabric. Well, if I put the foot down. And I'm going to bring that bobbin thread up. So see how it just popped up there? And then you'd grab it and give it a little tail. The reason we do this is we don't want it to build up underneath our quilts. We want to be able to have a smooth backing without all of the thread building up. And then I'm going to stick it underneath that hopping foot so it's kind of tucked out of the way. Now, if your machine has the option of keeping the needle down in the down position, I would suggest to do that as well, because as you're going to want to stop occasionally and readjust your hands and then go again. So if the needle is holding the fabric down for you, then you can do that. Okay, so the first design I would suggest is just making loops like U's that go up and down, up and down. So you're going to have your hands right next to the needle. You don't want to get it too close to the needle, but just pretty much right here. And anytime that you get too far away, you just stop and readjust your hands. Okay, so let's start here. So you just kind of make a U. And I'm going to go ahead and clip my threads here. And then you can make a U upside down. So see how my hands are getting a little far away? I would just readjust them. Now I'm going to travel down this way and go back the other way. And once you get the hang of doing this, then you can start going in and doing like a lobster claw. I'm going to stop and readjust my hands. practice doing loops. Let me readjust again. And then let's see. Can get real creative and do hearts. So lots of fun things to do, but I would start with just doing loops up and down, and then travel down and come back and do up and down again. Let's see. Do you have any questions so far? Make sure that while you are doing this and while you practice, that you keep your shoulders down. Don't let them come up to your ears. And make sure you keep taking deep breaths so that you're not holding your breath while you're making these designs. Let's see. What else could we make? Stars. Lots of fun designs. I should have made more of these so I could show you some more. Let me see if I can just whip one up real quick. So it's pretty basic as long as you have, I just broke my thread. If you have a good needle, good thread, your feed dogs are up, the Supreme slider can be very helpful, and these gloves can be very helpful. Oh, didn't want to go. Let me try it again. Oh, goodness. Having thread issues. Otherwise, it just takes a lot of patience, a lot of practice. When I first started, I think the biggest thing was trying to get the speed down with my foot. So I have the speed all the way up here, and I just control it with my foot or my pedal. What else? Trying to think through all of those difficulties I had a couple years ago when we started doing this. Sometimes when you're moving the fabric too quickly, the thread will skip a stitch. So you want to make sure that you're going slow enough that you're not skipping stitches. And sometimes the first machine I had did not like going in one direction, and I think it was going this way. So sometimes you just kind of have to find what your machine likes and what it doesn't like, and play around with it. And if it doesn't like going this way, you may just have to turn your whole quilt around and go back the other way that it does like to go. So it does take some trial and error that way too. Let me make up another little quilt sandwich here real quick, and we'll do some more fun designs. Hang out with me for just a second. Let me know if you can still hear me in the comments. Since I switched things up over there, I don't know if it's still working properly. Get some batting here. I just love to watch people free motion quilt, and on the long arm or the domestic machine. And I am such a visual learner that that's pretty much how I picked it up, was just by watching people, endless hours of watching people. Okay, Flowers. Okay, let me see if we can do a flower. So another trick when you're free motion quilting is to practice on paper. So just take a pen and a paper or pencil and try to do your design without ever lifting your pen up. And try to get your pen to be straight up and down instead of how we usually hold a pen. Just go straight up and down. That's one way to practice. Let's see. There are ruler templates that you can use to make certain designs with as well, but those take practice as well. So I really just practiced doing it on my own like this first, and then I think I did get a couple templates, and then shortly after that we got the long arm. So it's a great way to practice doing all your free motion quilting, and then when you get a long arm, or if you get a long arm, then it's pretty translatable to be able to do those same designs on the long arm, and it's actually even easier. So I think I'm gonna do like a leaf. Yeah, I'm not so good at flowers. I don't do them very often like this, but that's cute. I love doing feathers. That seems to be my go-to lately, but I do it on a long arm, so let's see if I can do it on domestic. It's a lot faster on a long arm machine than this. You kind of have to go slow, even though the machine's going really fast. To retrace your lines takes practice. Okay, I'm going to travel back down. Do the other side. So you just kind of do a bump, like a half part, and then travel up, do another bump. Woo. A little out of practice doing it on a domestic machine. Let me readjust my hands here. When you're doing a whole quilt, you'll want to start most likely in the middle of your quilt and work your way to one corner and then to the other corner. I think we're going to do a little loop here on the top. Oop, a little something like that. Kind of fun. Anyway, you want to start in the center of your quilt and work your way towards one corner and then to the other corner, then around your whole quilt. That way the fabric on the back can help spread out as you're going. Any other questions? Trying to think of other designs here we could do. Pebbles are quite the interesting one. You have to just be real slow and careful to go right on top of your previous line. Just kind of make figure eights. And then if you want to go back up, you can do a pebble within a pebble, so it looks kind of like a pearl. You could do swirls. Adjust my hands again. Pebbles, swirls, feathers, those are kind of my three go-tos. And then there's like candy stripes. So let's see if I can do that. Oh, this is the wishbone, I mean. So with this design, the way you get it to lay the right way is you look at the one ahead. So you do the first one, and then you try to match the same dimension as the one you just did before. And that way you get your lines laying the right way. And then there's one similar to that. Let's see, I don't think I'm on that anymore. Where it's a circle, and you bounce back a touch. Circle. Something fun like that. That's the candy swirl stripe thingy. So that's how you get your machine set up. Just lower your feed dogs, use a darning or hopping foot, make sure you have a good needle, good thread, and practice, practice, practice. Have patience, make sure you keep those shoulders down, you take breaks, stretch, make sure you're breathing while you do it. Let's see. Yeah, if any of these tools can be helpful for you, I am an Amazon affiliate, so you can find all of these products on our website and in the links in the description and in some of the comments. And when you purchase, I get a small commission from that, so I appreciate you supporting our small business in that way. And I hope you have fun. Make sure you post your pictures of any practice pieces that you do, and let's see how you do on your quilting journey this way. Have fun. Enjoy the journey. See you later.